for recording. All right, let me set these bad boys up. We're rocking.
Did you just get all this equipment? Like investing?
You know what? I got this mic. Look at my tape job. Like 2 years ago.
Oh, is this for a light? This thing, or is it for a mic?
Oh, it's. I know what you're
what I'm saying.
Like a Pixar.
Yeah, like.
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
when
it's
I was in
definitely.
art school, we had the same setup.
Yeah, I'm sure they make stuff like that, but this is about 2 years old. It sat in the back of my car because I wanted to do this like 2 years ago, and I didn't have the guts to do it. Now I dug your post today, even though it's more so about just starting your fitness, but like. Just
for
do
everything,
it.
yeah.
Just do it.
Totally.
Like, I overthought it way back then. I was like, you know what? F it. I even had it set up at my house, and I tried to record one day. I was like, no, that's not good enough.
Yeah,
So
I did the same thing
trunk.
with you too.
Yeah,
I would like film clips, and I'd be like, ugh, and then just like.
I did. Like I tried to do a vlog. It's been a while since I did one on YouTube, and I tried to do one the other day. And I filmed for like 2 days. I was like, man, I guess just so sporadic, but at the same time, you just got to put it out there, regardless. Yeah. And I'm wishing I have my mic going now. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start this bad boy now. And I'm gonna get my timer going on my phone. So go ahead and speak in one more time. Just say hey, something. Perfect. Picked you up. But yeah, we'll talk. Timer. Stop watch. Boom. What's up, guys? This is the All or Nothing Show, and I'm Austin, and I have a special guest today, Jamie.
Hello.
Yeah, she came out and decided to shoot the breeze with me and talk about what she's into and what she's got planned for 2020, and also very like-minded and just ventured off not too long ago working full-time for herself. So I definitely feel the feels that she's going through, and I'd love to learn and see what vibes I could pick up and what to do and what not to do. Maybe.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, perfect. Well, today we're going to start it off with a good old review. So, as y'all saw in the last one, you know what? Before I get going, I need to turn on these lights. Hold on, guys.
So many things.
I was like, man, yeah. Look at me. Boom.
Dang, there we go.
Yeah, we get some light instead of it looking like a cigarette smoke. That horrible yellow. All right, so back to it. We're reviewing America Energy, which they're a localish brand. They're based out of Northern Virginia. And I've tried most of their flavors. I really like them. Are you into energy drinks?
Yes.
Yeah?
I try not to be, but, you know, some days you need them.
Yeah, most definitely. I maybe more than others can drink 1 or 2 a day, which I try not to because next thing you know, I don't have a problem going to sleep, but I just feel drained, you know, like you can overdo it. There's a point of no return, and I hit that sometimes. But today we're trying Justice, which is their one of their newest flavors they just popped off. It looks like it's a strawberry kiwi, and I'm digging those flavors because we actually have a flavor of pre-workout that's somewhat similar to that. Green Monster, by the way. So let's go ahead and crack this bad boy open. Let's give it a little sip. Whoa. These bad boys make some noise. All right, so get a few sips in.
Okay.
Wash it around, and then give it a nice good 1 to 5 review. Like 5, don't be passing out 5s. I told Maddie and Brock the last time, too. Don't be passing out 5s. Out of, your experience, what do you think? Whoa. Strawberry, strong.
I was going to say, I taste the kiwi, though.
I do, but that's good. I like strawberry. I love strawberry. It's like, and it's not like doesn't taste like fake-ish to me. No,
it has a good flavor.
I'm going to go with 1 to 5 being, I'm definitely giving it like a 4.2. It's up there.
I was going to say 4.
That head on the nail. Or nail in the head. Boom. Yeah, and what I do like about these, and what's a little bit different, and I take into consideration for my count, is they only have 200 milligrams of caffeine, unlike Bangs that kind of overdo it. Sometimes they have like 300.
Okay.
And then it also has some nootropics in there, so like it helps with a little bit of focus as well. And there's 0 artificial colors or dyes in these, so they're clear. Tastes nice and clean, kind of, if you look at it. But obviously this isn't the point of the show. This is just to get some energy and some focus going on because we both have some long days, I'm sure. But I just want to start off, and what sort of got you, by the way, I creeped on you a little bit. Obviously, I feel like that's what a good host should do. I checked out your website, which, by the way, is very, very organized. It's very clean. I liked it. And maybe I'd like to talk with you a little bit more about that after the show. But how did you sort of take that transition or realize fitness is what you wanted to focus on for a career?
Yes.
Like, what was that transition point where you're like, man, I need to change myself. I need to, because I've read a little bit of a story, and it seemed like that's something you could definitely hit on a little bit or might hit on. But I'd love to hear the story of, like, man, that was the pivot to where I was like, you know what? I'm going all in on me.
Yes. So I mean, really I had like a pivot point, a pivoting point, and I was recently out of a really toxic relationship.
Yeah.
And if you know, like, after going through different types of trauma, oftentimes people say that they lose their sense of self. So I was kind of left at this point where I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I stood for. I just was kind of throwing myself a pity party for a while. And I got to this point where I was like, I can continue this pity party and to stay stagnant, or I can invest in myself and, you know, pick myself up. And I have to do this for myself.
Yeah.
And so I turned to the gym because I wanted to be strong and I wanted to be confident, and that's all I ever really knew from sports. So I kind of took like my sports background and I did the solo adventure of lifting. And, you know, then I started getting into the aesthetics of it. I wanted to change how my body looked because I also put on the freshman 15. So that was great. So then I had the times where, you know, you don't see the results you want as quickly as you want. And I had my roller coaster of ups and downs, but I always went back to that why of I wanted to be the strongest version of myself, be the most confident version of myself, and I knew I had to do that for myself, so I always went back to the gym, and that's kind of like my meaning.
Yeah. I really dig that, and the story of just realizing that nobody can do it for you, and, you know, if you aren't getting better, you're not really, there's no such thing, at least I believe, as just like staying the same. You're either getting better or you're getting worse, and, you know, if you aren't progressively trying to push yourself or just find new ways to, you know, grow, it's not gonna be good.
Yes.
But so from there, obviously, you've started focusing on yourself after a bad relationship and just not really focusing on you or treating yourself right. What sort of transitioned into you feeling like, hey, I think I want to help more people now. Now that I've got myself in check, I want to help more people. Or I want to, you know, pursue that passion. You know, what got you into that? Like, what was the first day that you were like, damn, I like that. That felt good, you know?
Yeah, so it originally started, so I was all over the board in school. I went to art school. That was like my dream, and then I got in it and I was like not feeling it. So then I went to business and then education. And I realized when I was in elementary education studying that I would spend all of my free time researching fitness. And so I went ahead and got my CPT, got certified as a trainer, and kind of decided like that was how I would give back to other people. And I wanted to help people, you know, find that confidence within themselves, put themselves first, and get the benefits that I received from it in their own way. So you were going to school to actually be a art teacher? Well, I went for sculpture. I was going to become I wanted to design Nike shoes.
Damn.
So I wanted to go industrial design, but I got into
do that, you know?
right? Like I could be the test.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but so I always have had roots in like there's always been fitness in everything, which is funny when I look back. But I was in art school and then I went to just elementary ed. Yeah. And then everyone was like, "Oh, you're gonna be a PE teacher?" And I was like, "No."
Yeah, that's what I thought. Either like a teacher of some sort, whether it be art or when you mentioned that.
Those are the two most questions I would get. Yeah. But then I kind of dropped everything. I got my bachelor's, but I told my parents, I was like, "I'm not planning on using this." Yeah. Like I finished out because they would have killed me if I didn't.
Yeah.
So got that, but then I went immediately once I graduated, full-time personal training.
Dang. Well, getting back to like having a degree that, you know, you really don't use, it's so tough out there, you know. And I had this, you know, conversation with Brock and Maddie too, because they're actually currently in school, and it's just I remember those times, even my first year semester, like it was so much pressure. I was like, what am I gonna do? What am I choosing right now? Like, I don't know what the hell I like, you know. Yeah. And I switched from so many different things, and I even got like I mentioned, a 2-year degree turned into like an 8-year degree, but I ended up finishing it. But it's still, I mean, it's crazy how many people out there that have degrees that don't use them or just realize it's just not for them. You know, school isn't, and for a lot of people, it probably isn't. But I want to talk a little bit about the Nike thing. So like, that's like very cool. So what about Nike that you were like, dang, I want to have my own pair or like create custom Nikes?
This is cool. I've never talked about this.
Yeah, no, I'd love to pick your brain about that because I have some custom I did them online, but custom Converse, you know, and I really enjoyed doing that. But that's very basic. Like I didn't design them; I just chose the colors and whatever. But yeah,
I was just honestly just obsessed with Nike. Like it's all I wore in high school. I went through a few year period like recently where I went to Adidas, but now I think I'm back to Nike. Got the new, you know, all the Air Maxes and so it was either Nike or like cars. Those are my two like things that I would research and I was passionate about and thought. But the thing with like everything, industrial design would have been a lot of years of schooling yeah.
It's a lot of math. Maybe not.
It's similar to architecture, but
not for me.
And all the school, like VCU doesn't offer it, so I would have had to have gone
like some specialty thing,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. So what about cars? Like what's your car? Like what is your, you know, pick of a car? Like what are you digging? What are you digging for cars?
Like if I could buy a car tomorrow, it'd be a black matte Range Rover.
Okay. No, that's
I don't know if that's Range basic, Rovers. But like that'd be like my mom car. You know, like that'd be my minivan.
So obviously, I'm gonna give you your top 3 picks then, since we went with the Range Rover, which definitely is a nice truck. But if you wanted like a car, like or design cars, who would you want to work with?
Oh, well, I feel like I don't know now. It used to be Mercedes or BMW.
Yeah. Okay. I like Mercedes. Yeah. Love Mercedes. But never had one, but I've ridden in a couple. Very, very nice. It's crazy how like the inside feels like a spaceship on some of them. I haven't been in an AMG yet, but I've been in a couple nicer Mercedes and I'm like, wow.
And it's funny when you drive them, you like push the gas pedal and you're like,
yeah,
way different. In my car, I'm like stomping down just to
waiting for it.
Come
on, let's go, baby girl, let's go. Dang. Well, so obviously you realized that the fitness was more so your thing for now, and definitely still is. You started working. Where'd you get your first job at?
Cary Street Gym, VCU.
Oh, okay. So were you going to VCU, and then that's sort of how you transitioned into that? Okay.
Yes, cool. I became a trainer there, which was good because they like really set you up. They do a lot of education, even though you're already certified. And then after that was Gold's Gym. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on somebody that wants to get into training? Mm-hmm. Should they start on their own with their own brand and try and pursue that way, or should they get a job at a corporate or somewhere like a school and sort of learn the ropes and then sort of, you know, maybe focus on themselves or transition out of that if they can? You know, where should someone start? Where's you know, what would be the best, most efficient route? And before you start, I just heard my camera turn off. I'm going to turn it back on. Hold on, guys. I had to do this like 5 times the other one. Wake up. All right. Back to it. Which route would you choose?
I would definitely say if you have no experience in, well, a lot of things. Like, I think you need the in-person experience because now I do all online, but I took what I learned from in-person. Also, the sales aspect, you don't think about, you need the sales. I think it was good to learn just from a gym as a whole. Yeah. Like, from a corporate aspect, like how they function, how they're successful. Taking little bits here and there has definitely benefited me. I personally gave myself, like, once I graduated, I already worked at Cary Street. Then I went to Gold's. I gave myself kind of a year deadline because we all know like life can just fly by. Yes. You look back and you're like, oh my God, I've been doing this for 20 years. Yes. So I told myself I have 1 year to do in person and to grow my own business to be substantial enough that I can then leave Gold's.
I wish I talked to you when I was training because I worked for corporate or a bigger company and was a contracted trainer. And I told myself, I didn't put a hard deadline. I just said, hey, I have GYMFLO on the backside. I was working for my mom at the time. I still work for my mom a couple days a week doing it, her business that she has, helping her out. But when I first got in, I was like, yeah, I'll be here maybe eight months, maybe a year, and then I'll get out and focus more on whatever. But I didn't put like an end date, so 1 year turned into 2 to 3. Next thing you know, I'm 5 years in, and I still I didn't set a hard date to push myself, so I feel like having hard dates like that puts you up against the wall to like, hey, I need to start making some moves because if not, like you said, 5 years goes by and you haven't progressed. And, you know, at least with some of the corporate ones that I've seen, there's only so far you can go with it. I would definitely say once you get some experience with maybe potentially starting out corporate, having your own brand is the end goal. It should be, because you
'Cause
don't.
it's more scalable.
Oh,
you can only do so much one-on-one in person.
Yeah.
And if your gym doesn't offer group,
Mm-hmm.
we don't really we have Group X, but we don't have like group personal training
Yeah.
per se. So there's only so much that you can do without getting burnt out.
Most definitely. And the one thing that finally got me out of training with corporate was it wasn't as personable as when I started. My gym had switched to group training only, and it was fun at first, but the personability and really focusing on individuals' goals left and faded very quickly. And I realized that I wasn't in love with it as much as I was before. Being able to focus one-on-one with people with actual goals, not just putting a broad spectrum around everybody that could be just starting out with fitness or same thing, and not being able to like figure out people's weaknesses or what they, whether they wanted to run a marathon or be a power lifter, it didn't matter. So it's much better, obviously, being able to focus one person at a time and have multiple people still, but being able to reach a lot more, but dial in what they want.
Yeah.
So you gave yourself a year. From there, after that year mark, where were you at? Were you like, hey, it's time to jump? Or did you already have a little base set up on the side? Were you doing some freelance on the side? Let it out. This is the All or Nothing show, so nobody's coming after you. How did you set yourself up within that year to transition on full-time Jamie?
Yes. So I guess I did about a little over 2 years of in-person training. So after that first year, I had already started building my own brand and taking on my own clients.
Yeah.
And that's another reason that I honestly left, because conflict of interest, it never came up, but like I had this like sort of low like underlying stress and anxiety about it.
Yeah.
So I had already had things set up and had enough clients on my own to the point that I could leave Golds. And I just was more passionate about, like, I obviously served both sets of my clients.
For sure.
But I've always said, like, the reason that I switched to all online is because I don't want to just be there. We had 30-minute sessions at Golds. I don't want to just be there for 30 minutes.
Oh,
I
that feels bad.
Look at your whole lifestyle.
Yeah.
I want to be there when you need me, not just when I see you next Tuesday, 10 days from now.
I totally forgot. That's the way we could sort of had our setup was 30 minutes. And within 30 minutes, you can't learn what they're eating, what their habits are, like you said, their whole lifestyle. The gym's a very small portion, the workouts, and it's what they're doing outside of that. When you only get 30 minutes at a time, and some people are only coming once a month, maybe twice a month.
Yep.
I hate to say it, but, on the sales aspect, a business is a business. They need people regardless to come in and pay their bills, but don't do it. Don't do it. Now that I'm out of it. Oh, man. If you're not coming in very consistently and able to be in front of your trainer and, spread your life out to them and dial in everything, every aspect. Because if you're in the gym and you're not focusing 100% on each area, you're only going to get, the whatever percent result. You're only going to get, if you half-ass it, you're only going to get a half-ass result. So if you aren't all in, able to really focus on everything, one big circle, don't do it. Or at least find a way to do it. Yeah. But, all right, so you built up a little base. Obviously, you left. You realized it was time to go. What was the date? Do you have a date? Like, you were like, this is the day. I feel like it wasn't too long ago.
It wasn't.
Because I saw you post about it. I was like, yeah, okay.
Honestly, I got back from a big trip.
Yeah.
And I, marched into my boss's office.
Oh, damn. How'd that feel?
I put in 3 weeks notice because I was like, I need more than 2 weeks. So I put in 3 weeks notice.
Yeah.
It felt good once I had done it, and I knew it was, the right thing. I just felt it. I was really nervous leading up to that moment.
For sure.
But I kind of just that was in, September, so.
Yeah.
October, November, been 4 months. But before that, honestly, I was only working maybe 6 to 8 hours a week.
Dang,
so I've been on my own.
Yeah,
I've been on my own for a while. I just don't have these sporadic, I need to go somewhere for an hour. Yeah. Now it's my day is my day.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, when I left, I was kind of nervous a little bit too, but at the same time, I already knew in my heart, I turned the page.
Yeah.
So regardless of whatever they said, or whatever, if they hated me for leaving, it's water under the bridge, it's gone. I don't even look back anymore. But I do know the fear of giving your notice to where it's like, oh, are they going to say, hey, don't worry about it, don't even come in tomorrow type deal, you know? Fortunately, I mean, I feel like you probably aren't that type of person to where you actually wore value there, so they weren't going to be like, hey, go ahead and focus on your transition. Don't worry about coming in tomorrow, you know? Is that where I worked at, that happened a lot. It was bad.
No, all good. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I was
yeah.
like, oh, I probably shouldn't be saying gold online.
Oh,
but,
it's okay.
But like only good things to say about them.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and when I transitioned out, it was such a pleasant experience and really good times. So yeah, I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't read the handbook. What can I say?
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
It's all good.
All right. So 4 months in, we're doing it. How do you structure your days? And you know what? This is one thing. I don't want to pass it while I'm thinking about it. I saw you post something of value about, hey, sometimes you need to reinvest into yourself.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you get a coach.
Yeah.
As somebody that can maybe guide you. Since you're new into it, you want to make sure you're not focusing too much on what not to do. You want to make sure you're focusing on what you need to be doing to make sure things are going forward.
Yes.
What decision or what point was like, hey, I'm going to look for some help and make sure I'm on the path for success with this? What got you into the coach aspect that helps you with, I guess, maybe life, you know?
Yes. So it was in February. I was at an event and I was given the opportunity to work with my mentor who I'm now working with. And I kind of like, I'm someone who like makes up my mind. Well, I'm really indecisive, but when I make up my mind, it's like, that's the way I'm exactly. Yeah. And so one point of me working with him and hiring him was because I was like, this is proving to myself that I'm all in. And honestly, in the moment, I was like, I don't know how, it's so cliche, but I was like, I don't know how I'm going to afford this, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And then literally like, it's like every typical story. And then I did it and I, excelled from that moment on, but it was kind of the push that I needed. And then the guidance and structure, because I've learned so much. I invested a lot. It's been a big jump, but it's given me more than I would have ever gotten. Like I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now if, I'd still be, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't. But, and it's wild because a lot of people are like, they're afraid, or I don't know if the afraid's the right word, but even me, with GYMFLO, with the supplement company, and figuring out, because I'm very green to it still, even though I've been doing it for about a little over 4 years, I still, I'm uncertain about some things that I'm focusing on or whether I should be focusing on them. And, ideas or thoughts of, hey, maybe I should reach out to somebody that has, been in the game for a little bit, that maybe mentors and or could just, put out some friendly advice and whatnot. And I've actually gotten some good advice and potential, I guess the same type of deal, maybe a mentor in the game. And I'm very excited for maybe some potential things to come with myself trying to, reinvest. I think that's huge. If you're not putting money back in, like with our products, we make sure almost dead serious, all of our money goes back into the product, either making it better or putting out new products, whatever the case, giving back, putting in a lot of freebies that we give away to our loyal customers and whatnot. But I realized that, to get back, or to get, you got to give a lot. And, whether that's reinvesting in yourself or just into others as well. Yeah. But from that, right before that question, I was about to pop off. So how do you structure your day? So with that being said, like, how are you structuring your days to make sure you are, not effing around, making sure that, because it is very easy. You could wake up, it's been a rainy, cold day. Oh, I don't really feel like doing much today. And a lot of people go through that. I see a lot of people, they aren't really making themselves any better. They're not making any progress with themselves, whether it's in the gym or just personal life, business, relationships. I'm just going to sit around today or I'll just do it tomorrow type thing. How do you set your days up to where hey, I got this, and this. I'm going to win the day, and not focus on anything else. No other noise.
Yes. So it started with time blocking. I use Google Calendar, and I go in ahead of time and block out my week.
Yeah.
And this is something my mentor used to get on me a lot about, because I would time block, but I wouldn't follow the time blocks. Like, I would set it up, it would look pretty, but then one would roll into the next because I would be behind.
Gotcha.
Getting distracted.
Yeah.
And so then we started implementing, if it's over and you're not done, it doesn't matter, you move on to the next time block. Too bad, now you're behind. You do it tomorrow.
Yeah, that sucks.
But then the biggest shift that I've recently had was more so like blocking my days. So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday are client days. Tuesday, Thursdays are content days.
Yes.
So I'm like on Mondays, I know I'm doing check-ins for a certain amount of time. And then after that, I'm making resources. So that way I have more structure to my week. So I'm not waking up like, what am I doing today? It's like today's client. I have XYZ. I need a program and do this. Dang. And then content days are a little bit like all over the place.
Most definitely.
Like things like this or filming for myself, or I'll research sometimes on either day, depending.
Yeah.
And then take that and like put together stuff.
Perfect. My camera, it just took a dump again. We're going to turn it back on. Dang. Look, I'm glad I brought this up because hold on. All right. So, I do not really have a set in stone. I wish I did, and I need to. I'm working on that. I have been working on that at least the past, let's say, month and a half. Finally got a planner. That's step one. And I could put it on my phone and use Google, but if I'm on my phone, I get hooked onto Instagram or Facebook or YouTube is big for me. I watch videos, podcasts, anything. It's just a wormhole. The Alice in Wonderland just hole that where you just fall in, you can't get out.
Yeah.
But so I guess I'm old school. I want to be that way because if I have the little book on me and I have it in my bag over there, I see it when I'm digging through my bag and I pick it up and I just try and make it a habit to obviously look at it at least first thing in the morning so I have it fresh in my mind. But some days I have maybe 5 things on there and some days I might only have like 1, and it might be very, small task, something simple, but I feel like writing it down has helped a lot, at least keeping me focused, not falling off the rails and at least knocking one thing out for the day.
Yes. I also do MVPs, which I read in, I can't think of the book, but Most Valuable Priorities.
Dang.
So the thing is you set only 3, at most 5, because what we often do is we want to set like, 10 to-dos and we get overwhelmed. But this is like you order them 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5. And like first thing is your most valuable priority. So you get it done even if it's like the most demanding or like the thing you want to do least.
Yes.
That's another big thing because I tend to like gravitate, since I don't have like hard deadlines, they're mostly self-created. I tend to want to like do what I want to do first.
Yeah.
So.
Or what's most fun or enjoyable. Yeah. I'm
like
definitely the same
way.
way.
Just like edit footage all day, I would do that. But my brain power is best in the morning, so I have to make sure I'm saving the little tasks for.
Most definitely. I feel you on that. When I'm fresh first thing in the morning, my mind is able to think about a lot and like process a lot and be a lot more creative. At night, I can have that list or a mental list lately of things that I want to do on the computer, whether it be Photoshop stuff or just newsletters. And next thing you know, I'm like, man, I'm drained. I'll just do it tomorrow or whatever. And next thing you know, it's that revolving door where you just never get things done or it just takes you way too long to do it.
Yes.
But and speaking of like a list, a while ago I did something like that where it was called, I don't know if you know him, but Andy Frisella.
Love him.
Yeah, I love him too.
Yeah.
And I did his little power list thing for about, I did it for about a month, but then I ended up losing my little book that I had for that. And it wasn't like a planner, but it was like a little notebook. Lost it, so that sort of ended that because I was like, oh, I'll get a new book. And next thing you know, I just never ended up getting a new book and whatever. But I'm actually doing something right now, and I attempted, and I'm going to be honest and open about it because this is the All or Nothing show. I attempted it probably 3 or 4 months ago, and it's that 75 Hard program that he has. And not that I feel like I'm disciplined in some areas, but I feel like I could always do more, and I'm always leaving stuff on the table, or how we always have more gas in the tank. And I realize that if you're not truly happy with what you got going on, or mentally, or just know you could be doing more with your life, it's definitely something you should look into, or just trying to strengthen your mind. Because I feel like a lot more people are only rolling at like 40, 50, 60% of what they could be doing.
100%.
And definitely me still. But every day that I'm pushing myself this much harder, it makes those things that I don't feel like doing, like that outdoor cardio, which lately you'll see me on Instagram. I'm out there doing it at midnight some nights because I'll be doing everything. I'll be doing stuff like this, or most days I'm working until about 8 or 9 at night. Then I train. And then after that, I get home, I eat real quick, and I'm like, oh, shit. It was 28 degrees last night, and I was just out there in the parking lot looking like a weirdo, walking around my parking lot for 45 minutes. But, it's shit like that to where, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Have you read Can't Hurt Me?
No.
David Goggins.
But I've seen interviews with him, and he's
Yes.
he's very, that dude's.
It sounds dramatic, but that book kind of like changed my life. Like,
yeah.
I did the audiobook, highly recommend on Audible, because it does a little bit of podcasty in between the chapters. And just his story and like his mental discipline is insane.
I feel like,
I'll be running and I'm like, David wouldn't, like, you know, I'm like,
what would David do?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, David would keep running, like, suck it up.
Damn, yeah. Well, I did listen to a little bit of his stories, and that dude had a dark come up, and I can see where he has that, like, that little tick on him that just keeps kicking or biting him, and he's like, oh, I gotta keep moving, gotta keep moving. That dude, when he's talking, like, especially even Andy, like, when they're talking in the mic or just talking to anybody, I feel like, man, is he talking to me? Like, is that like me? Am I like that lazy dude? Like, even though I'm not lazy compared to most, but it's like, man, I just know I could do better. So I feel like that's why it might click with you, might click with me, or it clicks with hundreds of thousands of people where it's like, you just know you could be doing better.
We all have such higher potentials.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But that was definitely falling off the tracks. But that was just, talking about how you structure your day and getting things done. Yeah. So let's say, for example, let's talk about what you offer and whatnot. So obviously I went to your website. You have a lot of free content on there already, like a big blog. Scanned over some of the topics. Very, very in-depth stuff. This isn't like, a short little paragraph of things. You're actually digging deep for some of these topics, and very knowledgeable, very valuable, especially if you don't know where to even start. If you just need, some advice or just feel like you're doing the right thing, that's definitely a great spot to check out. And you also have other free things like macro plans and whatnot, and how to sort of maybe set up,
my
something.
free macro guide.
Yeah.
That's my big freebie. And then I have my protein cookbook, because that's everyone struggles with
saw
getting in
that.
their protein.
I saw that. Yeah. And plus, it can be very easy to get it in, but it can be very boring. If you're like me, I do the chicken and the eggs.
Yep,
and
egg whites.
Damn, and I do hot sauce. And fortunately, I'm just too dumb to quit or too lazy to make it better. Maybe not, but I do enjoy the hot sauce because I can put it on everything. Dead serious. But I am just don't get too creative with it. And I feel like a lot of people fall off because of that, or obviously miss out on their macros or just their calories in general, not eating enough. And if you aren't, like we said, hitting it 100%, you aren't going to get 100%. But so that's definitely cool that you have that stuff to offer. And then obviously I saw some testimonials. You've helped and reached a lot of people, a lot of big changes. Dead serious. People put in work with you. So how does somebody get started with you if they want to take their fitness, their life into their own hands and become better? What's the steps to working with Jamie?
So I have an application on my site on the coaching page, or you can literally DM me and we can have a conversation. And then I love to hop on the phone with anyone who's slightly interested, super interested. I love to just get to know you and talk about your goals, where you're at, where you've been, and what's stopping you. And then from there, you can choose to sign up for fitness and nutrition or just one or the other.
Yeah.
And work with me one-on-one, get my full attention, get all my knowledge, weekly check-ins. I'm on you, I'm texting you, I'm calling you.
What you doing?
So.
I'll find you. Well, so that's definitely, a great way. What's your website so they can find it?
GYMFLO.com.
And obviously you can go to find her on social media. I'll put all of her social media tags and whatnot in her website down in the comments or description below in comments. But you can definitely go to her social media, and there's a link directly to her website and all the other goodies that she has. Which, by the way, when I clicked on that, I saw you're rolling with CBD. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
I've tried it myself personally. Only one 30-day serving, but how do you feel about it? Like, honestly, obviously you work with the company, you're partnered with them. But,
I picked a company that I trust a lot. Similar to how I run my business is I do a lot of research. I'm very invested in the information, so I work with a company who does the same. Their CEO is always researching, very passionate about the topic. And I started taking the drops, and it's one of those things people are like, I did CBD, and I'm like, no, you don't do it. It's not a drug.
No.
It is you won't feel any different the minute you take it, but if you take it for a prolonged period, so like you said, a month, I do notice my sleep will be better. When I fall off, then I start to see the difference. minor things like that. So just overall more calm, better sleep, deeper sleep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I have the lotion, which I'll use on my joints.
Oh.
Which is a cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have, when I got this sample, it was a friend of mine that got a big package from, I forgot the company. Well, anyways, doesn't really matter. It was CBD though, drops like you had, and then also it came with like a almost like a topical rub-on type thing.
Yeah.
But the thing for me with that smelled too much like Bengay a little bit because I guess they did like a blend of like some deep blue, but also had the CBD in it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it definitely heated you up, and I don't know the topical stuff. I don't know if it really works for me too well. But I not many things ache on me except my upper back. Oh God, I got the biggest knot back there, but. The droplets, though, I did notice a difference with that. I did. I truly did. And almost like day one.
Really?
Yeah, day one.
Okay.
Dead serious. And it could have been a placebo, but
True.
it stuck with me pretty much every time I took it. Took it right before bed, or probably an hour before bed.
Yeah.
And I did notice, like, just a more, like,
Calm.
I felt my body could just, like,
Uh-huh.
relax a little bit. You know, I just realized that I wasn't so tense or anxious, maybe, per se.
Totally. I would say for me, the anxiousness.
Yeah, my mind can race a lot at night, and that's not good because I'm, usually up late anyways, and then I go lay in bed, and I'm like, man, thinking about tomorrow, or what else I could be doing, or what I should have did. And when I was taking that, it did help. But, yeah, I don't know. What do you think, what are your thoughts about, because some of them do have, I guess probably not in Virginia, but some of them do have THC involved with them. I don't know if you've ever dabbled with that, but I did get a sample of a CBD infused with it was like 15% of THC. And I don't usually smoke, but I have before, and it definitely puts you down a little bit, definitely chills you out, mellows you out. And I've seen a lot of companies outside of this Virginia using some of those products. Now, I don't know, I'd maybe be interested in trying some of that.
Yeah, I haven't tried that.
Yeah, and who knows, I mean, I'm not fighting it, but I think most drugs should be legal, but that's just the way I think. And there's so many things out there that are legal that are way more dangerous,
True.
than being alcohol or tobacco that can kill you very quickly and put a hurt on relationships and lives. But anyways, who knows, before too long that might be legal here. It seems like it's popping off everywhere.
Yeah.
So outside of that, you're working also with an apparel company as well.
Yes.
Leggings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, leggings.
Yeah. The companies that I work with are really amazing because I only work with them if they're, if we both speak to each other or align, I guess. They don't demand anything from me. So it's my authentic self, wanting to share, wanting to wear them.
Yeah, leggings blew up. I was just talking with Jake. Me, Jake, Brock, and Maddie, and even Griffin. We went out to eat the other night, and we talked a little bit about women's clothing and particularly leggings. Back in the late '90s. Dang it, my camera just turned off. Hold on. About to pop it back off. But talking about leggings and how they've changed so far, to be very, I guess, I don't know, they've definitely evolved, and some of them are way more tighter than others, but I definitely they probably do feel good and make you feel a little bit more, I guess, not athletic, but they just make you feel, I guess, a little bit more secure. I don't know.
For me, it's just my element. They're literally just me.
Yeah.
I've become one with the leggings. I wear jeans maybe twice a month. I'll go out at night in leggings. I'm like, they look like. Why would I wear black jeans when I could wear comfy, stretchy leggings?
Dead serious. A client of mine, and it's funny because she brought it. We were kind of talking about her leggings, and then she was like, "Yeah, I went out. I just left the gym. I'd worked out, so I went out to eat. I didn't have time to change." And she said she had a woman comment saying, "Hey, where'd you get those pants from?" And she was like, "Oh, they're just leggings for the gym." She's like, "Oh, those are so cute. I need some for the club." I was like, "Dang, okay." So they're definitely a universal piece of apparel. So, what are some things? I definitely wanted to touch on this before we get anywhere close to the end. What are some things that you have lined up for 2020, and put them out there?
Yes.
What are your top maybe 3 or 5 big, humongous goals that you want to put out into the universe?
All right, I'm gonna say it. I haven't said it. The first one, I know. Well, it's been very recent. Triathlon training.
Yes. Okay.
My physical goal.
Yes.
I really have my sights set on the half Ironman.
You need to hit up David for this, huh?
Oh, okay.
David Goggins. all that running he does.
Right.
He just ran that's crazy. I saw him run a 240-mile race.
Yeah, mine would only be 13, but.
Anyways, yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
so
you're good.
Triathlon.
Triathlon has been my I literally decided on, what's today? I decided 5 days ago, and then the day after that, this is what I'm saying. I get my mindset, and I'm off. I bought clothes. I bought new running shoes.
Yeah.
And so the only reason I say I want to do the Ironman, it's called 70.3, is I can do it. It's just the swimming. I am nervous about swimming a mile with the ability that I have. So my plan is to get a coach, because the one that I would do is in June.
Yeah.
So right now I'm on a 20-week training program. I'm set to do it. I just haven't paid for the ticket yet because I need to make sure that I'm not going to drown.
Yeah, most definitely. If you can't physically do something, there's no point in,
Because I can physically do the bike. It's 56 miles. I can condition for that. I can do the 13-mile run. I just have to put in the time and effort. It's like any goal. It's like what I tell my clients. You can do it.
Yes.
You just need to put in the work.
You actually have to be consistent.
And so right now I'm putting in the work. I'm doing most days, or 4 days a week, or 2-a-days. And then today I'm going to the gym after this.
Hey.
And then it's just the swimming. I just need to learn the technique and actually condition my lungs and get the form down. And if I can do that, then I'm going to do it.
That'd be smart.
Does that make sense?
Yes, no, most definitely. Because
it's you can do anything you set your mind to.
Oh,
It's just, can I learn to swim by June? So that's my biggest body goal.
Yeah.
With my mentor, we set 4 goals. So it's body, mind, relationship, and business.
Okay.
So that was my big body one because I really needed a push. Because I've been lifting for 5 years doing that. Business is just to grow. Ideally, hire team members.
Yes.
Assistant and or media team, or part-time media help.
I definitely think
editing and
media
all the time,
especially with the way things have been and are going. I definitely think if we ever did, which we will, but the first position that would ever be filled with GYMFLO would be not marketing, but it'd need to be an enclosed, almost 3 responsibility job. A little bit of, you need to know how to market a little bit, but also edit and shoot. That would be the
Mine
package.
Mine would also be proofreading, my copy.
I could probably use help with that because my grammar's horrible and my vocabulary is a lot of curse words and a lot of misspelled words, and probably the curse words are misspelled. But I definitely think that's a huge thing, and that would be the first position. I feel that would help you out a lot because you put out a lot of content. And imagine, me and Griffin, we did a video. I just posted to Instagram not too long ago. A video that took us. It was a 14-second video, and it took us 2.5 hours just to film it. And then he had to put however many, maybe an hour or two after that to edit it. So, that's time spent where you could have been focused on something else, or
totally.
Obviously reinvesting your time back into the business, not that, which is fun, but it's not so much effective.
Yes.
Or the most
if you
efficient.
read the book One Thing, it's talking about the same thing. If you spread yourself across all these different things, how are you going to focus on your one thing and excel in that? And I agree, you should be kind of well-rounded.
Yeah.
I built my own website because I wanted to know the back end. I don't want to have to contact somebody when I need to update a button.
Yes.
But as far as things like video, and I would like my videos to have words.
Like subtitles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know that. I tried that once and I was
done.
There's so much I can do a lot, but that I can't. Yeah, there's certain things that I haven't put in the time yet. So, and I'm, we only have so much time.
Oh, hell
so.
yeah. I do. I know all about that.
Yeah.
Know all about it. So, obviously, there's 2 goals that you have. Scaling your business, and then obviously the body goal. What are some of the other ones that you have?
So, these goals are 90-day outcomes. So, for the next 90 days, my mind goal is actually to write 500 words every morning, to work on my writing skills.
What do you mean? Just
write 5. Get on, start writing.
Yeah, dang, okay.
And then if it's good, use it for content. If not, use it as just practice. So just practice writing.
Almost so, and what I guess the question I have is about any topic you want?
Yeah.
It could be just hey, this is what I'm probably going to do today. Just write that out.
It has to be more structured.
Okay.
I talked about it with my mentor, and this is a cool thing. Another reason to have a coach or somebody that you can bounce ideas with, because he always challenges me to either level up or, you know, whatever. So he was like, have a jar of words. And this is his brain. It's so cool. I would have never done this. But he's like, have a jar of words or do a random word picker if you're stuck one morning. And he's like, maybe you pull out bamboo. And then I was like, okay, like, I'll write about bamboo. And then he's like, you have to research bamboo and see that it's the, like, strongest plant in the world. And then you can talk about resiliency. And I was like,
oh, man, that's deep.
Yeah.
Deep.
So I was like, oh, cool. So that was...
But that gets you thinking, though, you know?
Yes.
Thinking bigger than just bamboo.
So that's my 90-day goal. So then... as the year goes on, my content is evolving. And
I like that. I really dig that, actually.
Yeah.
And I would have never thought either. And it's crazy how much outside perspective. You just talk to one, like, we just all met up, like I said, last night for dinner the other night, and just talking with everybody. And it was just simple talk, but I was like, dang, I never thought of it that way, or I never thought about this. You know, it's crazy how you can get just one little outside perspective that would make you change your thoughts or the way you're thinking.
Especially if you work for yourself or do a lot of work by yourself, you like cherish those moments of getting outside opinions and perspectives. And
lately I've been wanting, like, I've been huge on finding anything and everything, and I particularly want bad. I want feedback or views of, like, hey, this is what I think, you know, you could change, or this is, why don't you think about doing it this way, or what are your thoughts about this? You know, I really want, not bad, like, hey, you suck criticism, but I definitely want, like, outside views and perspective from people to where I can be like, oh, dang, you're thinking about that? I've never thought about that, you know? And I because I feel like that would definitely help me become better, because if I'm just thinking about my brain all the time, then I'm there's only so much. I'm sure I can, because I read daily and do some other things to get some outside perspective, but I definitely want to hear what people's thoughts, feelings, reviews, perspective, you know, everything, to where I can, you know, somehow grow off of that. And I've really been digging that lately. I've been, like, looking out for it.
Yeah.
Everybody that come by, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I just pick brains. I've been trying to get better.
Open to that.
Yeah, I've been trying to get better at that, like picking brains.
It's helpful.
Yeah, it is huge. So writing 500 words a day, which seems like you're going to school for that. Goodness, it reminds you too much of school, which is definitely cool because it's challenging yourself. It's probably shit you don't want to do, which is another thing that's only going to make your mind stronger. But, man, waking up to be like, oh, I got to write a paper today.
I know. Well, 500 words, I feel like I can kind of knock it out. I haven't written it yet. I'm starting on Monday, so we'll see.
Yeah. You're going to... obviously, you said if it's good, you might post it. I got you. Okay.
Yes.
I was
like
about to say,
I
are
can
you
kind
gonna
of like edit it and use it, so, or put it into a newsletter, or somehow repurpose it, so that way it's practice, but it's also
for sure
useful.
Yeah, useful. It's valuable.
Not
you know,
out two things.
Yeah. Especially if you're going that deep with it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that's your mental game.
Yep.
Mental. What else? So you had body, mind.
Business, and then relationship. So what we do is either with yourself or with others.
Okay.
So I'm just doing 90 days, that's 12 weeks, relationships with others and balancing work and like friendships. So just going out with like different people and doing different things each week. One of my big things this year was learning cutoff times and not working through the weekend.
Yeah.
So every Saturday or Sunday, like picking a fun activity, going out and doing that.
I like that.
And just making sure that I'm like having human interaction, leaving my house.
Yeah.
Little things like that, because what we do in like with my mentor is making sure that I'm balanced, because he believes that, you know, you have to have all four of those things thriving and progressing in order to continue. You can't just focus on business, or you can't just focus on physical.
I definitely believe so. And that's one thing that within me picking brains is another thing that I guess inside goal to myself was to try and go out more often. Now, when I'm saying go out, not go out to the bar or to the club, but like go out and conversate with people. And that's where I would get, you know, pick brains and whatnot. And I wanted to, you know, be able to create relationships outside of just me and my wife now. And I don't leave home. Like after I get off work or I'm out here doing this, she'll hit me up at 9 or 10 o'clock. Where are you at? Why are you out there so late? I'm either doing this or I'm at home in bed or, you know, whatever. So I want to make it definitely a goal for myself, just like that, kind of to get out and be able to enjoy life a little bit. And we travel and whatnot, but it's still, I don't really conversate with a lot of other people or don't get the chance to, because I'm always focusing on this, or my mind's always on this. So, Yeah, that's huge. I like that. And I think
that
a lot
balance.
a lot of people need to, maybe open their mind to that, getting out.
I think the
outside
same is for people with 9 to 5s. Like, you should have a hobby
Mm-hmm.
or have, like, scheduled outings.
Yes.
Because it's easy to just go through the weeks
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of, like, sit at home, watch Netflix.
For sure.
and get used to that routine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess getting on relationships, have you, this is getting on to a little bit outside of the fitness thing, but since your previous relationship that kickstarted this whole big revolution off.
Yes.
Have you been in other relationships or anything, serious over the past?
Yes.
And, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had some really good experiences after that, so I'm very grateful that I didn't repeat the cycle.
Or if you were just done with men.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done with it.
No,
Jamie, all in on Jamie. That's it.
Right now, I am kind of I'm very focused on my stuff.
You should be, yeah.
And I'm not opposed to a relationship, but I'm not seeking one out, going out, looking.
And I feel like, and this is the way it happened for me, and it probably doesn't happen the way for everybody, but I feel like this is why it's worked so well, is that my wife, she reached out to me. I was out there, sort of putting myself out there a little bit, but she reached out to me, and I feel like the right people will find you, type deal. If you're doing the right things. And dang it, my camera. But yeah, getting back to find people. I don't know. I do believe that the right people will find you if you're focusing and you're happy with yourself and you're focusing on you. The right people will come around, and because you aren't really focusing, you aren't looking. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, you're not forcing it. And I definitely believe you're doing the right thing. I'm not a guru on relationships, but I definitely think until you're. If you're not focused on you and you're not making yourself better, you're not going to attract the right people. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Maybe I can't describe it too well right now because I'm a simple guy. But that's good. So that's body. So you're doing triathlon, doing some mental goals, relationship goals, and then we also had business. Yeah, so that's 4.
Yep, those are the 4.
And those are the 4. And those are 90-day challenges.
Yeah, my 90-day outcomes. And then essentially, if I reach all 4, you pick a reward and you get that, or you don't.
Like a trip? Or,
yeah.
Okay.
Right now, it's probably a new MacBook. Because I need one. Yeah. So I'm I don't even know if it's going to last 90 days. So I might need to pick a new reward. We're on the tail end of
Fortunately, that's a nice little business write-off.
Oh, yeah. Write off everything.
Yeah, that's serious. That's everything.
I hope the IRS isn't listening.
But, yeah, I'm rocking with the HP that's a dinosaur. It's probably 6 years old. I'm surprised it's still rolling. Yeah, this thing's a tank. I bought it for like $300.
Dang.
But so speaking of trips real quick, because I travel a little bit here and there, and my wife, she travels a lot. I just dropped her off at the airport yesterday. She went to Germany until next Thursday, just to go.
Oh.
And then we're going, this is a family thing that we're doing, but we're going to Hawaii in March. And shortly after that, she's going to Turkey by herself. Turkey. She just travels. She went to Mexico by herself. She went to Prague, Budapest, all these places, all by herself. She's just, she always invites me. She's not like, hey, you stay at home, you make sure you're getting stuff done. I'm going to trip. I just can't afford to take that much time off. Obviously, working for yourself, I just can't. But yeah, where's a trip? Where's your man, I'm going there once I have a chance.
Bora Bora.
Bora Bora, dang.
It's so basic.
That's it.
The huts,
that is.
the blue water.
That's it, though. Dead serious.
That
is
or,
it.
I mean, Hawaii's up there.
Okay.
As
Bora Bora would blow Hawaii out the water.
Totally. Or Bali would be cool.
Yeah. So there's obviously that's your tropical place, but if you had to go anywhere to explore, maybe do something a little different, do you have anything like that in mind? Or is it just
I love the tropicals.
Okay. Me too. Dead serious. Well, Sarah, my wife, she convinced me, or she talked me into doing a little bit more of these off the beaten path places like Iceland. We went there for 8 days during Christmas, and we drove around the entire country in 8 days. And you'd go through so many different landscapes. One would be like an Arctic tundra with literal reindeer, huge reindeer out in the middle of just this, as far as the eye could see, snow and mountains. And we were in this tiny little Geo Metro of a car with little spikes in the tires so we could get through the ice and snow. And there was no way. I would always be like, I want to go to Mexico, or I want to go to Costa Rica, which we've been, and all these other tropical places. But she's like, no, let's check out some of these other places. Let's get some culture.
Yeah.
Or whatever, which after I've been, I definitely try and recommend people to like, hey, definitely check out some of these other places. They're cool, especially like Iceland with you got the Aurora, or what is that called? For the green sky, you have, I guess it's Aurora. I can't even think of the words, but beautiful place. But those are your 2020 goals. Do you have anything else outside of that you like haven't planned with your coach? Or are you just you're focused on those?
I'm pretty focused on the first 3 months.
Yeah.
And taking it. I'm not really into like resolutions.
Yeah.
Because I think they easily get lost. So I'm focused on those 3 months, reverse engineering that, and knowing what I need to do each day. So like write my 500 words, work towards like assistance and finding more media people.
Yeah.
And then also just growing my business, and then the triathlon training.
That's exciting, for real.
Yeah. It's like sparked a fire in me that I haven't felt in a while.
Yeah.
Because, when you lift,
so
you
different.
just go through the motions.
Yeah.
And now I'm like biking. Got to buy a bike. Got to find a swim coach.
Yeah. I feel like it's just fresh, probably. It's
Yes.
just a feeling of something fresh to focus on. It's not the same.
And I won't. So what happened was I was going to set up a goal for my body and just do cardio conditioning. And then I was like, I won't stick to it. I know myself. Like, I'll say I'm going to do it, and I'll like half-ass it. So I was like, if I sign up for this thing, and now I'm back into running, and it feels good. But I barely get to lift, which is kind of sad. Because I'm like, my body is taking a toll. But
I'm sure.
It's good. It's a good change, and it's not forever.
But you're still pushing your body, though. Like, it's not like you just took off
pushing my
from
body
fitness.
way more.
Yeah. Definitely. I think just in a little bit different. It's not like you're going to forget about lifting.
Yeah.
You'll come back to it, I'm sure. But I started running not too long ago. I just tried to, like, run a mile here, run a mile there. Because I haven't run a mile since high school, probably. Like, I was telling one of my clients, like, I haven't ran more than 30 yards in, like, 10 years.
Yeah.
It's bad. And I do the steering wheel, the elliptical, or whatever for cardio. And I was like, I got to get out of that, man. I got to get back to some functional stuff.
The running, you just get the endorphins.
Yeah, the endorphins. You just feel good. You got your lungs burning a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're just seeing stuff. You're just outside,
Totally.
It's so different. It is different. But before we move on, I do have a few questions through the box on Instagram. So if you aren't following us on Instagram, make sure you follow both of us, because before these shows, I definitely try and throw up a Q&A box so you can ask us questions for these shows, and we'll answer them. But I gotta take a pee break because I'm about to pee. So have you ever met Brock and Maddie before?
Yes. Brock started working when I was leaving Carey Street.
Yeah, gotcha.
I haven't met Maddie yet.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. They're a cool couple. Very cool. It's so wild how young they are. How old are you?
I know. 23. Dang, I forgot for a second.
What? Dead serious. Well, I wish I'd forget. I just turned 30.
Okay.
And
how's it feel?
Dead serious, when you said 23, I still feel like I'm 23. 22, 23. Like, mentally, definitely. I might feel a little achier, whatever, but when I hear people say, oh, I'm 40, I'm 50, I still feel like I'm 20.
Dang, that's good.
I can still see, like, I think it is mental. Like, it is, you are what you think, So.
True.
We're back, and we're going to hit on some questions from social media. And one of them, let's see. I'm going to go to my personal page first, at a pageman. And so, first question, not too serious, but it could be serious, though, because it is a good food, I'll say. What color Sour Patch does Jamie like best? So here's my thing. I don't keep track. When I'm eating Sour Patch Kids, I'm eating it at the movies. So it's always dark. I never know what color I'm eating. They all taste good. Do you believe that any color has a different flavor?
Yes.
Okay.
Totally.
Okay.
My favorite flavor is yellow. My second favorite flavor color is red.
Red.
And my best friend in elementary school.
Do you cherry pick?
Liked orange and green.
Yeah.
So we would only eat Sour Patch together because she would eat those two and I would
Split.
eat these two. But honestly, I don't really eat Sour Patch because I like chocolate.
Oh.
Chocolate over, fruit candy?
Yeah, fruit candy. I don't know, chocolate. I think chocolate's its own category, and then there's candy.
Well, I would just only pick chocolate. I could never eat candy again. Like Airheads. I'll eat it.
I guess, yeah. I could do chocolate. Because I do a lot of wine. When I'm not doing 75 hard, I do a lot of wine. And not when I'm saying I'm not crushing a bottle a night, but wine and chocolate,
True.
It's grown on me a lot. And which I'm not some foo-foo out there. Like, I'm not like, I got my wine and I know everything, but they work. It's like, spaghetti and meatball. I don't know. It just works. But
chocolate.
what's your favorite chocolate?
Oh, any.
Any? Yeah. So mine, and you can argue me to the death.
Don't say Hershey's.
No.
Okay, good.
And Hershey's is good, but they're not like top. They're not even close to top. So argue me if you want. Again, and this is what I argue with my wife about a lot, because she eats a lot of the fancier Lindor and all these other chocolates, fancy chocolates. Reese peanut butter cup. So I'm going to tell you why. Especially, and I'm talking about the holiday versions, whether it's the egg, the tree, the pumpkin, the heart.
I don't like the big ones, but I like the little ones.
The minis.
The cups.
No, so those are good, but the ratio of chocolate to peanut butter is not like the holiday edition ones.
See, I like more chocolate to peanut butter. You're opposite?
Yeah, totally.
Makes sense then.
Yeah. And I tell her all the time, my argument is, yes, those other fancier chocolates are good in their own respective category, but are they in every gas station and every convenience store that I go to? Like Reese's, they're $1 billion brand. $1 billion. You know they're putting work into their stuff. Well, anyways, I bash on everybody because Reese cups are life to me. So I can't say what I would like for Sour Patch Kids. I don't really focus on it when I'm eating them. I eat them all. So next question. Would you be worried about losing any strength or muscle during this training for triathlon?
Yes.
Yes.
I am worried.
Yes. You hit on a little bit.
Mostly in my glutes, just because I've been training glutes 3 times a week, doing hip thrusts 3 times a week for maybe 6 months now. So I've already thought of that, but then again, at the end of the day, like, if
you gotta sacrifice.
Yeah, it's like the give and the take. You know, you can't focus on 2 things at once.
No.
Same goes for all my clients who want to lose fat and build muscle. To some extent, yes.
Yeah.
But it's all dependent. So for me, like, I'm going to try to maintain as much muscle as I can through diet, mainly my nutrition, and then when I can get in small workouts, really focusing on just like activating the muscles.
For sure.
I'm definitely going to lose strength, but I'm not super strong to begin with, so it's totally fine. I'll bounce back.
Yeah. So I guess following up with that, and this is just a question from me, is like, are you and your coach, or you, obviously since you sort of do your own diet and nutrition probably, are you going to add calories knowing that you're going to be burning that extra more? Or are you going to like try and catch up so you aren't losing but so much body weight or mass per se, because you are going to, obviously, with extra running, biking, and swimming, it's probably a lot more calorie burning than maybe just going into the weight room for 45 minutes or an hour.
Totally. Obviously weight fluctuates, but right now I'm down 2 pounds and I've been eating a little bit more. I'm definitely going to be adding in more calories, getting my carbs up. Protein is at body weight right now. It might go up just because I'm like paranoid. But definitely more carbs, probably a little bit more fats just to help my nervous system and everything.
And not that I doubt you'll have a problem, because you aren't going to be, who knows, maybe you fall in love with it and that might be what you focus on. But you're obviously giving it a taste. You're testing the waters. But I doubt this will be much more than just, definitely probably like a little cut for you,
Yeah.
Definitely. That's the way I would look at it, like in a positive way. I'd be like, man, I'm probably going to get pretty shredded if I'm doing that.
That's not the end goal, but if it came along with it, it would be wonderful.
I definitely think so.
I was planning on being in a surplus and gaining until April or May.
Yeah.
But now things have kind of shifted. So I'm excited to fuel for performance because it's different for me. When I used to do like sports, I didn't think about nutrition at all, and I definitely severely underate. So now this is like a whole new like chapter for me that I've never experienced. So
it'll be exciting for sure.
Yes.
Most definitely. Let's see. What? All right. So trying to lose weight. What are some of, I guess, pretty basic. What are your suggestions? Where would you start? Where would you start? Type deal.
For losing weight?
Yeah, for just losing weight. It's pretty so vague, broad question. So where, like, if you were working with a client and they came up to, hey, I'm not worried about building muscle. I just want to drop a few pounds, which obviously you need a little bit more detailed goals than that. Yeah. But if they came up to you, where would you start? Like, how would you
be like, hey, weight loss?
Yeah.
I mean, my mind automatically goes to being toned, getting that lean look, because most people want to have some muscle or some shape when they lose the weight. So my minimum is usually 3 times per week resistance training. If you have a very sedentary job, you've got to get up daily movement. So you need to be walking. I try to get my clients to walk during lunch, after work, wherever you can fit it in on the weekends. You would be surprised at how that adds up over time. Because when we're talking about sustainability, you can walk.
You can walk.
Hopefully for
you don't have to run.
Life.
You can just walk.
And then nutrition. My number one thing is always up protein. It's going to help with satiation and help with overall just diet quality. Getting in, hopefully, lean cuts of protein, not like fried chicken. Some here and there, but for the most part. And then 80% whole foods, focusing on vegetables, fruits,
for sure,
produce, the outside of the grocery store.
Yeah, the outside. Definitely. Those are good tips. And I want to like follow up with the walking part. I feel like so many people overthink it. Just get your body moving. Just move.
Totally.
Just move.
Especially when you think how much we sit.
Yes.
And humans weren't made to do that.
No. Meant to move.
The one like example I always give is back in the summer when I did my deficit and I went through my cut. I kept my training program exactly the same. I had my coach do my nutrition, so we were dropping calories, but I never added in cardio because I don't want to run, I don't want to bike, I don't want to elliptical or do anything, and all I did was take 3 walks a day. 10 to 20 minute walks, that's it. And I lost 10, 12 pounds.
That's awesome.
Like 1 pound every week by adding in the walk.
And that's like perfect.
And then life got crazy and I stopped walking and my weight loss plateaued. So there's a little self-research study.
A little study right there. But just walk. It's so simple. Don't overthink it. Just move. Yeah.
And for your mindset.
One more question is, do you ever wish that you had a higher figure or someone to give advice or check you when it comes to business choices or directions to go in? Which I feel like we kind of talked about that with mentorship a little bit. But let's say, for example, obviously your mentor gives you, some ideas, but how do you choose which direction you want to take your brand? Like I guess since I don't really have a mentor, I just realized that, not that you don't put any thought into it, and I definitely want your input, but for me, since I strictly go off my own brain, is like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I do what I feel in my gut is right. And I realize that if I'm not pursuing something and it might not be the right things at first, you just got to sort of dabble, unless you have some guidance or direction. You just sort of have to dabble with a little bit of everything and feel what you can sort of be consistent with, what's going to push whatever your goal is forward, and try and drown out as much noise as you can. So anything that doesn't have a direct, feedback into what your goals are, you gotta definitely dodge them and sort of put your blinders on, I guess people say, or put your head down, which I still personally need to get better with. But definitely, it's definitely tough though. It's tough because, like I said, you can get into that slump where it's a cold, rainy day, or it's been a long week and you're like, man, I could just chill or not do anything. I'll just do it tomorrow. But you just got to realize if you aren't doing it, ain't shit changing.
It's not getting done.
Yeah, it's not getting done.
I would say since I started my business like 2 years ago, but I've had a mentor for a year, nothing as far as like my thought processes have changed. As far as like I still come up with all my own ideas, and I am in charge of my brand and my imaging, and whatever I produce is up to me. But the cool thing is when I run it by him, he has more experience and he's very successful. So when I run it by him, he'll kind of give me the pros and cons or things to consider or options to change. But he never is like, you can't do that. So I would say the things that I've created when I've been like, I guess in collaboration with him, I've been more confident in them just because you have that outsider perspective.
Yes.
You have it always feels good to have someone looking over you in that aspect. Like, they're skilled and valuable. And then I would say accountability, it still comes down to me. And I mean, because he's not in charge of me, he's not my boss. So I set a deadline next week and I don't think I'm going to reach it. And I still have that like feeling of like, I have to get on the phone with him tomorrow and explain to him.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my clients give, not my clients, but a lot of individuals give a lot of excuses, mine too. I used to give excuses to him, but now I don't even, because it's all up to you. He doesn't care why I didn't get it done, right? So I just explain I didn't do it. I was not focused. It wasn't time management. So it's still that like external pressure that us humans do really well with. It's just how we're wired. We like to have somebody kind of,
Yeah.
once someone else is involved, we're more accountable immediately.
Most definitely. My camera just cut off, and I'm glad it did right there. 1 second. Dang. Yeah, I definitely have some thoughts about that. This is weak sauce right here. Weak. So, I guess touching a little bit more on that subject is confidence, and I think that's a big factor with it, knowing that you can do it, or whatever your goal is. That's where it first starts, I feel like, because if you don't have confidence in yourself, you're not going to take action to do anything on your own. And I think confidence comes from action, unfortunately. So you have to just know. For me, it's, I guess, maybe 2 or 3 things. I've been trying to be better, even from day one, just being a yes man for sure. And it sounds weird to say that, but what I mean by that is just trying to take every opportunity. If an opportunity comes up for anything, really, I'm most likely inclined to just give it a shot because you don't know what might come from it. That's with anything. It could be, any business opportunities or things like this, getting on somebody else's podcast, or, you don't know what could come from it. I try and say yes to anything that pops up.
Totally.
And then obviously taking action on those things brings the confidence. And I think if you have some discipline to where you're doing a couple things, whether it's a power list or there's little minimum 3 tasks a day, and you're knocking those out, quote unquote, winning the day, as Andy would say it, it builds some confidence. And next thing you know, it's just a snowball effect, and you feel a little bit more structured. You feel like you have a vision and a goal to accomplish. So you do what needs to be done, and you take the opportunities. You just do it.
Yeah, you just got to take that initial action.
Yeah,
which is
most
the hard
definitely.
part.
It is, because sometimes you aren't sure if it's the right one, but you don't know until you try.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's where we're going to end it off today. And Jamie, thank you again for coming out here. It was awesome to finally meet you. And hopefully maybe we'll have you back on again as these goals get knocked out, maybe closer towards your triathlon or maybe after it.
Oh, that would be cool.
Follow up, see what happened, and see what your I guess perspective on life is after all that.
See how much strength and muscle I lost.
Oh, no. But yeah, to find Jamie, I'm going to link all of her stuff and social media and contacts in the description or comments below. And if you'd like to learn anything more about Jamie or the All or Nothing Show, or any questions at all, make sure you reach out, let us know, and we'll see you next time.